Hello, good afternoon. It is now, let's see, 1:56 on Monday, April 17th. I did my last video, I believe, on the 26th of January. I usually try to wait 3-4 months. I'm just about at the 3-month mark, and I also try to wait till we have some additional new information, which I do this time. Just want to mention there is an open Zoom meeting coming up this week with the unit owners. The president's report, I didn't want to do the president's report. I'd rather do with these YouTube, because when I do YouTube, we get anywhere from 550 up to 1,000 people or views that watch it. A lot more people watch YouTube than watch the Zoom meetings when we do the open Zoom. The open Zooms, then you do anywhere from 50 to 60 people. We're going to continue doing that for the near future. We find that more people Zoom than they do come to the meeting. We find out instead of 2 or 3 questions at a meeting, we'll get 7, 8, 9 questions at the Zoom. And it's just working out. We've also spoken to our attorney and Impact, which is a management company, of what's the percentage of people still Zooming, and the percentage seems to be around 95% of the association still continue to Zoom. So that's what we're going to do. It's convenient for the board, and it's much more convenient for the unit owner. So you'll hear more about that. You'll be notified tomorrow about the time and when we're doing it. I think it's a couple of days from now. But anyway, let me start right in about some of the things that we're hearing. I've been giving advice to my wife. I talk too slow. I talk too fast. I don't make jokes like I used to. So anyway, I try to do the best I can to give you information. Let me start with the Palisadium. There seems to be a few questions there, and I hear, of course, through the grapevine, I do hear some of the things that are going on, the rumors and things that spread. First of all, once again, for the 5th time, 6th time, okay, the money from the Palisadium, number one, built our new fitness center here, which cost a substantial amount of money. The balance of the money is put into a separate account. All this money, of course, is 100% in our financials, okay? So it's not like nobody knows where the money is. If you want to see the financials, I'm sure Chris Murphy is more than glad to give you a copy and also explain to you where it is. The money is paying for our legal fees. We're still in a lawsuit with the Palisadium. I heard a comment like, oh my God, that lawsuit's still going on. Well, please, tell it to the judge, okay? I'm not trying to be sarcastic. Lawsuits don't take 5 minutes. Our status right now is that I believe at the end of this month, that's what I was told 2 weeks ago, at the end of this month, the owner of the Palisadium is going to be deposed. The owner's wife is going to be deposed shortly thereafter. We're hoping, early May sometime. And I've also been told that they want to depose me as well in May. And then we hope that sometime this summer, hopefully, we can go to mediation. Hopefully, we could reach a resolution. If not, we'll just go to court. We feel very strong about our position. We feel very strongly about, I think it was 53 years left on our deal. So that's the status of the Palisadium, okay? We have a beautiful fitness center now, and I know people are enjoying it. We're very, very proud of trying to make, taking a bad situation, making it as good as we possibly could under the circumstances. Regarding the Palisadium itself, we just get, the rumor is the Palisadium's reopening. It's true but not true. The Palisadium itself is not reopening. I'll tell you the story the way I heard it and some of what I know. Okay, I heard that somebody approached the Palisadium. They wanted to lease the pool and rent the pool out. The Palisadium, the owners told them, no, if you want to lease the pool, you're going to have to lease the gym as well. From what I understand, and again, this is all rumors. I know they're reopening, but the rumors are that this person found someone that's going to also rent the gym out as well. This is not the Palisadium, okay? This is a third party that's renting the Palisadium and is being leased from them and is going to rent it out and charge people to use the pool, use the gym, etc. So it's not the same situation. I just want to remind the unit owners in 300. 82% or 81.5% of you voted to get out of the deal with the Palisadium over a year ago. That's what we did. That's how we were able to build our new fitness center the way we did. At that particular time, I know I'm being a little repetitive myself, Chris Murphy, our attorney, we were hoping and praying that we could even get over, I think we had to get over 71 or 72%. we never even thought we'd get to 71, 72%. We got to 80, almost 82% pretty quickly, pretty smoothly. So overwhelmingly, that's the way it went down. So once again, I just want to repeat, they're going to open up the Palisadium. We had 53 years left on our deal. I'm sure the new people leasing the place would, I don't know the details, I can assure you, and I'm willing to bet any amount of money, that there's no way they'd signed a 53-year deal, okay? So that has nothing to do with us, and that's the story. So when people say the Palisadium's reopening, it is, but the Palisadium themselves are not running it. That takes care of that. Let's go to the next subject that I'm sure some people are curious about, and it's an interesting subject as well. Cannabis, okay? Opening a cannabis place across the street from us, it was very, very upsetting to a lot of people. And just want to give you details of what myself, Chris Murphy did, and our attorney did at that particular point. If everybody remembers, quite a few people were upset. There was a meeting, and the first meeting they had, our attorney was, by the way, our attorney was completely involved, 100% behind the scenes at all times, calling the town attorney, calling the planning board, etc., to find out what was going on. And we were told before the first meeting that no one would be able to talk. You'd be able to go to the meeting, but they weren't accepting anybody to speak that night. So with that known, I did not go. Chris Murphy went. He represented the building. He reported back there were approximately 12 to 14 people from Winston 300 there, 12 to 14 people from 200, and some residents from the neighborhood were there, okay? They wouldn't let anybody talk. There was another meeting scheduled. Once again, our attorney started making phone calls and told us that they're going to let people speak, but they're not going to take any action at that meeting as well. They were going to throw it back to the council and the mayor. So myself and Chris Murphy didn't go to that meeting as well. Okay, there was no reason to go if they weren't going to take any action. Meeting number 3. Okay, they did have a council meeting with the mayor. Myself went with Chris Murphy. In the interim, the word got back to me. One resident put on Facebook here that Chris Murphy and Roger are doing very little to help the building to stop cannabis from happening. And I found that to be fairly upsetting, to be honest with you, because Chris and I have always been involved. We were speaking to our lawyer all the time. And it's very interesting at that meeting, if everybody remembers, we sent out a letter you could download on your computer or you could sign right here in the office, an actual letter saying that you felt that this would cause additional traffic and cause trouble for the unit owners here, etc., and it wouldn't be good for our real estate value. We had 350 letters that we delivered the day before the council meeting. At that council meeting, when Chris and I were there, I would say 6 to 8 people went up to the microphone and spoke. I would say 3 or 4 people from 300, a couple from 200, 1 or 2 residents that live in the neighborhood. And the mayor's right-hand man, I don't know which council person it was, did say, I want to very strongly thank, quote, 300 building for delivering 350 signed letters to us. That is the right way to do things. I'm glad you did not do a petition because the law in the state of New Jersey does not recognize petitions. You did it the right way, and he thanked us again. You're the only building, you're the only people that did anything like this. So I just want you to know that we did our best. We delivered 350 letters, which is more than 50% of the people that live in this building, unit owners, and we were recognized by the council and the mayor. He came to me after the meeting and thanked us and said, thank you very much. We understand your interest and your concerns. So we shall see what happens. Personally speaking, I'm going to go online. I personally believe that was a done deal from the beginning, and I still believe that. Okay, there's been other meetings. They changed how many feet you could be from a church or from a school, and but anybody that already had their application and already they were kind of grandfathered in, so they were going to let them continue on their course to try to open up a cannabis place. So I feel it's going to happen, but we did the best we could, and once again, July will be 44 years since I've been living here. Okay, I am very concerned. Of course, I'm concerned about my real estate value, and I'm concerned, like, most people are. Of course, there's some people that, I've read some stuff also, some people making comments, oh, that's fantastic, and it's great to have a cannabis place. I don't know what's great about that. I have no problem. It's legal. I really believe the places that I know, for example, there's a Send at Fort Lee, which is in kind of a commercial area. I believe there's another place in Secaucus, which is in a complete industrial area. There's another place on Route 17, again, commercial, industrial area. So I feel it's a little bit too residential here, but again, the town approved it. It's legal, and we could only voice our opinion. So I hope it works out for the best for us, okay? Getting to the next subject, and I'm going through all different subjects here because there are certain things that are happening, and if people don't realize or know what's going on here, it's not for lack of YouTube. I don't know too many buildings or too many board presidents that do YouTubes, okay? We're trying to be as transparent as possible. I think this board's always been transparent, and you're always free to stop me or stop any board member. I'm sure we'll answer any questions you have at any time that we legally can. The next subject is packages. Excuse me. We're having problems with the packages, to be very blunt, and the problems we're having is there's some missing packages going on here. So based on the fact that packages are missing, and it's a horrible thing to say because this, again, is our home. We think that everything's, 100% perfect, and it's not. I think over the last few weeks we had like 5 different missing packages. And these are legitimately missing because what happens is the packages come in, Amazon, the postal office, UPS, etc. will notify you. Once we get the packages, we then take it and we put it into our computer, and then you get another notice saying you have a package downstairs. Once we put it in our computer, then we're recognizing you do have a package, okay? So we've had some missing packages. Based on that, what we're doing is starting next Monday, we're going to reopen the package room downstairs. The package room is going to be located where the oversized laundry machines are. There's a room that we cleaned out in there and fixed up, and there'll be somebody manning that room during the day, which we'll post a notice at times for you. We will reopen every night for an hour so people can retrieve their packages. We originally closed the package room due to COVID. We didn't want all, hundreds of people getting in elevators, coming up and down. Seeing that COVID's basically subsided now and things have changed quite a bit. It's time to reopen the package room, and we hope it works out. We really appreciate the way people have cooperated. It's been a burden. It's a burden because at night we have security that's delivering a lot of these packages, which is good because we have more security in the building on the more floors, but it's bad because it's hurting us a little bit, patrolling the garage, patrolling the ground, so they'll be able to go back to their regular duties. And again, I hope this all works out, and please try to understand our position here. We did have 2 full-time package people. We did relieve one of his duty because it became too expensive. We were spending a tremendous amount of money delivering packages. So now we're gonna have one dedicated package person that'll be in that room all day, which is Danny. Okay, I'm sure you know who he is, and that's the package story. So I hope you'll get the word in the next by the end of the week what the hours will be. It'll be most of the day, like I say, 1 hour per night. I'm happy to say that we did 2 bagel brunches last year. We also Norma Hazen had a dessert party and or a dirt party or finger food party. We were very, very successful. So once again, we will be having 2 bagel brunches this year, one after Memorial Day, one again after Labor Day. The dates will be announced. We also, thank you, Deborah Baldwin has worked on a barbecue along with myself and Chris. We're going to have a tremendous barbecue. It's now scheduled for August 5th. We have a new company because the company that we had in the past unfortunately went out of business. I think I mentioned that. That's why we didn't do one last year, and we also didn't do one for several years because of COVID. So we feel pretty confident now. The menu is going to be similar. We have some additions to it. We're going to have spare ribs, and we're going to have some other stuff. I'm not going to go through the whole menu right now, but we've added to it. It's going to be absolutely tremendous. We really look forward to it. And again, August 5th, We have a rain date of August 6th, and this company is a little different. If we give them enough notice, we can even have a whole, if God forbid it's going to rain for the weekend, we can put this off for a week, and if we give them enough notice. So we look excited to that. We look forward to that. And again, thank you, Chris, and thank you, Deborah. We appreciate it. We're doing other work also. Some of the stuff I mentioned at the last Zoom meeting, but again, when you have 50, 60 people, a lot more people watch what I'm doing now. We just put some new brickwork in the back to keep the dirt and the flooding down in the back. We're also adding some drainage in the back. When the back was done, I guess it must have been about 16, 17 years ago, there was never any drainage back there. It was improperly done. So we're adding drains in back there, which will make the back much better, I hope. Okay, we keep away the mosquitoes and keep it easier for people to walk the walking paths when they walk this summer. We also just put new drainage in the front visitor parking lot, which was causing some water to drip below with some of the people that parked down there. So you should see a big change down there. I think that was completed a couple days ago. It's finished. We are also, mark your calendars, on the week of May 8th. The week of May 8th, the windows will be washed once again. So we're very happy about that. We do that twice a year. Prior to me being on the board, we weren't even washing windows here, and it made a huge difference. When you get your windows washed on a regular basis, they don't get as dirty, and they stay kind of clean during the winter. Want to mention the arrears. Since I've been on the board, and I've been on the board a long time now, our arrears list, and the arrears of people that owe us money, is at the lowest point ever since I've been on the board. I think there was a point that we're actually around $300,000 in arrears, and I believe at this point, and again, it takes a couple of months for the financials to catch up, so you may not hear this number when Charles gives his report when we do our Zoom meeting. I believe it's under $100,000, not substantially under. We had a lot of people that owed us $50,000 and, $10 here, $100 there. They didn't pay their visitor parking. A lot of different, some small amounts and some larger. We sent out letters for the people that owe us about $50,000. We already got paid, I think, about $25,000 to $26,000. So that's also worked out very good. So our arrears is the lowest it's been since I've been on the board. I've been on the board. I'm in my 14th year or so. That's pretty good. We're very happy about that. The pool season is upon us. Okay, we're 5-6 weeks away from the pool reopening. The pool house, I'm sure you've heard this before, is completely redone. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, it is a pool house. Just remember that. Deborah Baldwin was also involved in that. Did a great job. The pool house looks great. We have a beautiful new shower outside. When I say shower, it's not just a little shower head that you get to rinse off on. This is an actual shower that you can go into. We're asking people to rinse off. Please don't go in there and start showering for an hour, okay? We also have 2 indoor showers as well, like we used to. We have more privacy for the indoor showers than we used to have as well. So I think you'll be very happy to see that. We also have hired a new pool company this year. The pool company we had the last few years, we were very disappointed in the coverage we had. The guards were out of uniform at times. I didn't see guards with even having whistles. It was really becoming a disaster last year. So we hired a new pool company, which we will vote on at our Zoom meeting coming up. I believe that we're going to wind up paying, bottom line, I think we're going to wind up paying, I'm going to do this in my head, I'm sorry, I think we're going to pay about $3,000 more this year. That's actually the first raise we had for a pool company in maybe 10 years now. We paid almost the same rate for 10 years. So a good, very good job. Nicely done. Thank you, Chris. Chris brought in, I think, 3 different pool companies that we spoke to, and this is the company we're going with. They're going to have a manager on site every single day, and when you hire a pool company, they all say the right thing. So let's keep our fingers crossed. To me, it's like what you want to call a crapshoot. Every time you have a pool company, you never know what you're going to get. You can only do the best you could do. We have Jake Kim, who's on the board. He's our newest board member. He's been investigating washing machines for the future. Our washing machine agreement will be up a year from November. I know that sounds like a long way off, but it's about 18 months away. Time flies quickly. We have our first meeting with a washing machine company tomorrow, I believe. We're looking at things which is going to be very exciting. If you have a cell phone, you'll be able to have an app on your cell phone. It'll tell you if the washing machines are being used, whether the dryers are being used. If you put your wash in, you'll be able to look on your phone to see if your wash is done. So there's going to be a lot of new upgrades. We're looking into possibly increasing the machines in there. We could stack one on top of the other. We're not sure about the drainage and the water supply, et cetera. So we're looking into that. So we're looking into getting, obviously better machines, and we are looking into having our own machines, by the way, which will financially benefit the building tremendously based on what we've studied. So you'll be hearing more about that over the next, 12 to 14 months. Thank you, Jake. He's done a lot of spreadsheets. He's put a lot of work into it. And, of course, with Chris's guidance, okay? Talking about some other stuff, and again, I'm trying to go through a whole list here of giving you everything that's going on here. We passed something at the last meeting that about 5 or 6 people got upset about. And let me talk about that a little bit for a second, okay? It's about the ESA dogs, emotional support animals, all right? We have, 5, 6 years ago, we had about 10 to 15 dog owners. Today we have about 60 dog owners. Things have gone really way up, okay? And what happened was some rules were passed at the last meeting, okay? Open board meeting. We did just the way we passed stuff for batteries, no smoking anywhere in the building, passing no hoverboards, any rules that have been changed. You have to vote in front of the unit owners in an open meeting. We did that, and about 5 or 6 of the dog owners got upset. These letters went out. That's about 5 weeks ago, by the way. The letters went out. Believe it or not, a great deal of letters have been already returned to us and signed. I did say at the last meeting that 98%, 99% of the dog owners have nothing to worry about. Nothing's really going to change. And I'm going to stand by that right here again, once again. Nothing's really going to change. But let me tell you, a couple of dog owners, they had 2 concerns, and I'm going to tell you about what they both were. Number one, how did this come about? What happened? Well, what happened was one of the dog owners wrote us not 1, but 2 letters about a particular dog that he felt was dangerous and that the building should take some action on, okay? With that letters, we took the letter, the first letter, for example, and we sent it to our attorney for his advice, because you're playing in a dangerous area. You start playing with ESA animals, there's a lot of rules and laws, and you got to be careful how you handle this. And I'm going to elaborate that in a second about this. I don't want to make too big of a deal about it, but people should know this, and I'm particularly speaking to the dog owners right now, okay? We sent it to our lawyer. The first reaction our lawyer said, do you guys have ESA dog rules in place there? We said, no, we don't. He said, well, you have to have dog rules in place. We said, okay. He said, I happen to have something that I sent to all my buildings. I'd like you to use the form that I'm using. We said, okay, no problem. He sent us the form. We read it. We agreed with most of what's said in there. And we knew that we're not going to take much action. We're not going to start rocking the boat here. All right, even though there's a few dog owners here that we'll get to in a second, they're over the top, okay? So what happened was we sent this letter out, and about 5 or 6 people got very, very upset. And I'm not saying 60 people, 5 or 6 people, okay? They got upset, and there's nothing to get upset about. If you have a dog, they don't realize that this office, okay, down here gets calls, okay, gets letters. There are people that don't have dogs here that are also upset. They're upset that certain dogs bark all the time. They're upset when they step in urine or a dog defecated somewhere. I'm not going to go through all the gory stuff, but there's non-dog owners here that weren't happy either. So we're trying to play a balancing act here. So what happened was we have one dog owner here in particular that goes around telling everybody you could go anywhere you want, you could do whatever you have with an ESA dog. That's absolutely not true, okay? The law states you have to give reasonable accommodation. That's the law. That's the word that's used, reasonable accommodation. So one of these dog owners, and a lot of you may know who this is, he decided, he went around telling people to sue us, okay? If you get a letter, they tell you to do this or that, sue them. So what happened was, over the last, 3, 4 years, we had 3 people that went to the state of New Jersey, got free representation from a lawyer. Some of you heard this before. and they sued us, okay? And every one of those lawsuits were dropped, okay? We were never fined, we were never reprimanded. Everything was taken care of, everything was dropped, but it cost the building for those 3 lawsuits about $8,000 a lawsuit, almost $25,000, all right? And it cost the person that sued us nothing, okay? So I just want that person to know, and I want the people, they're suing the unit owners. They're not suing Roger or the board or Chris Murphy or the manager. They're suing all of the unit owners, and they're suing themselves, okay? So in the future, before you do that, because they never even warned us, let's have a conversation, because we got, those people that sued us, they got letters. Here's what the letter said, okay? They were walking the dog through the front door. 98%, 99% of the dog owners here go through the back door. The only time they don't use the back door if there's a move in or a move out, or the elevator's broken, so they can't use the back door. That's understandable, all right? I'm going to go through the front door in a second as well. So what happened was this one dog owner went around, whipping up people to go against us. It's really very, very sad, okay? So what happened also, in addition to that, because we spent $25,000 on this dog owner now decides to take his dog to the bagel brunch, our last bagel brunch. And I didn't even know about it at that particular night. I found out the next day, did you know Mr. So-and-so took his dog to the bagel brunch yesterday? I said, no, I didn't. So what I did then, I went to our lawyer, and our lawyer wrote us an opinion that he could not bring his dog to the bagel brunch, or nobody could bring their dog to the bagel brunch, because the opinion basically said, that's a health issue. Can you imagine if 60 people start bringing all their dogs to bagel brunches, etc.? But again, that cost, I believe that cost us about $1,200 for that opinion, and it's costing the unit owners money, okay? So the bottom line is that's why we sent out the rules and regulations, okay? They're very, very simple rules and regulations. For example, a lot of people walk their dog on our lawns out here, okay? We can't stop that. I mean, we're not going to start hiring security guards to watch you, but it is our lawns. It's your lawn, okay? It's your landscaping. It costs us $75,000 a year to take care of the landscaping, okay? So if you live in a neighborhood, okay, whether it's the Fort Lee, Cresskill, Washington Township, wherever you live, you can't start walking your dog on people's lawns. I mean, we all know that. So the bottom line is this, okay? They had 2 things. One of them was they were upset by the letter. Also, there was something in there in the letter, and I just want you to go on record with this as well. There was something in the letter that said every year they'd have to renew their letter from their doctor telling them, what the reasons they have this dog. And some of them were upset about that. So I called our lawyer on Friday, and I told him that some of these people are upset about that. And the lawyer said, okay, well, what do you want to do? I said, let's make it every 2 years, because every 2 years, that's what you have to do. If you have a handicap sticker for your car to park in a handicap space, you have to renew you have to get a new prescription from your doctor, and you have to go to motor vehicle every 2 years to renew your handicap. So I'm going on record now, putting on YouTube, that you have to renew it every 2 years now instead of every year, okay? To my knowledge, that was one of the biggest sticking points, and I hope that makes them happy. By the way, I want to finish by saying I've had 2 dogs in my life. I had a boxer when I was a kid. I had a German Shepherd in my 20s. Fabulous. I'm a big dog lover. But again, like I say, nobody knows all the real stories. Nobody knows the story about the dog that was put on the terrace in the summer all day long when it was 95 degrees out, and they just left their dog on an unenclosed terrace with the sun beating on them all day. Nobody knows about the dog about 3-4 months ago that was barking all day, that wouldn't stop, and we finally had to use the emergency key to go in because the dog would not stop, and security went in. The dog had no food, no water, okay? So I could go through other stories. I'm not going to go through that because it's not about the dogs. It's about the dog owners, okay? And again, 99% of them are doing a great job, and we have no problem at all. And things, I'm going to say it again, things are not going to change, but please try to understand about the people. You go through the front door. Let me tell you what happens in the front door. Number one, you have a lot of handicapped people coming through the front door. You have people that have dogs on leashes, okay? It's a good way to fall. Number two, if you use the handicap door, every time in the summer you open the handicap door, the hot air comes in and it compromises the air in the lobby. Every time in the winter you go through the handicap door, the lobby's ice cold. And there is a a situation there where, you could get stuck on the leash and break your neck, okay? So, try to bear with us on that one. I could go further and further on that. There is no visiting dogs allowed in this building. This is a pet-free building, and let me go on record there too. That rule was made in 1981. I believe out of the 9 board members, okay, I'm the only board member that lived here in 1981. Who says rule has absolutely nothing to do with the board of directors, has nothing to do with management. This is a rule, okay? So that's really the dog story. Maybe that's a little too winded, or long-winded, and too long of a story, but we're just trying to give a story that we understand a little bit of your frustration, but some of it's a little overreaction. And if I told you some of the comments that I heard, you would just roll your eyes. Some of the people made comments that are just mind-blowing. You just have to scratch your head. Before I go, I want to mention a few other things. And I want to mention this because a lot of people are only living here several years, and something really precipitated that made me think about this because a couple of things happened last week that were very, very interesting. Number one, we outsourced our energy here, the electric, okay? When I say outsourced, of course I'm talking about the common areas, the hallways, the garage, the conference room and office, the air conditioning throughout the building, the heating, everything that we use electric on. About 5 years ago, well, this fall will be 5 years, we made a 5-year deal. We outsourced our electric, and the company that we bought it from happens to be called Five Guys, came here, I think it was last week, and they told Chris was going through the calculations with him, and by outsourcing our electric, and I'm kind of bragging here, but this all affects everybody that lives here tremendously. We're saving, this year we saved $50,000 a month. Let me repeat that. $50,000 a month, $600,000 just this year on electric in this building. That's how good of a deal, because we locked in a rate 5 years ago. The rate has gone up 200% by now, okay? Over the past 5 years, we've saved over $2 million, all right? So that may sound like, wow, whoa, that's unbelievable. It is unbelievable, because in addition to that, and I just want to tell you this for a second, because again, a lot of you have heard this before, and a lot of you have only lived here 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You don't even know this. I made some other notes before we go. I just want to read some of them to you, okay? Let me see if I can find them here, because I can't even read my own handwriting. That is a problem, you know what I mean? Let's see. Okay. When we did the waterproof the facade, we met with multiple companies. The bottom line is we got them down $500,000, okay? When I say we got them down, I did, okay? I met with these people, we negotiated, we got them down $500,000. Got them down on the P-tax. When we bought the P-tax, our heaters and air conditioners for our units, we met with multiple companies. It took us over 3 years to make a deal. We got an engineer to oversee it and give us an opinion on the P-tax that we bought before we bought them. We saved $1 million, okay, over what we started off, what they wanted to charge us, $1 million. So we're up to $1.5 million right now. I want to mention that we've also put in storage closets. A prior board member came up with a great idea to add additional storage closets here, which we did, and those storage closets are earning us over $20,000 a year. So in the years it's been in, we've already made over $100,000. We have antennas on the roof. We went to 2 different companies. We're making about $25,000 a year on the antennas on the roof. We elevators, when we redid all our elevators, we had a company called Schindler Elevator. It's the biggest elevator company in the world. They wanted $1.9 million to do our elevators. I got the company that we have now, Pride and Service, who does a great job for us, phenomenal job. We got the job done for $1.2 million. We saved $700,000. Also, the other reason that I'm going into this, because in addition to the electric company last week, elevator number 7 broke. That's the one of the garage elevators. And what happened was, after, I think it was 10 years, at 10 years old, the motor blew out, completely burnt out. I just want you to know, and again, I'm bragging about it, and I'm patting myself on the back, because why not, okay? Nobody else is going to pat me on the back. We made a deal with Pride and Service, okay? Must be about 6, 7 years ago, this deal. We made a deal with them that all of the parts for our elevators are warranted for a lifetime, as long as they're the company, okay? We did not pay for the new motor for that elevator. And I was kind of smiling. Chris and I got a good high-fived each other on that one, okay? Because that was a great deal. We got a brand new motor for our elevator for nothing, okay? So that's what brought it up. All of our vending machines we bought them all in-house a few years ago. We tripled our income on the vending machines. We have a nail salon, which we just put in a few years ago. We're making more money, and it's a better amenity. We have a brand new, beautiful gym here. Some of the other ways we made money from the cable company. Since I've been on the board, we've gotten over $400,000 in advances from the cable company, marketing fees, as they called it. We got over $100,000 from the washing machine company when we made that deal. I could go on and on and on and on, and I'm looking at some of my notes here. I'm trying to make a point, and my point is this, okay? My point is that I've read some comments, on Facebook that people sent to me, and the real shame of our Facebook, one of the flaw that we have, first of all, let me tell you about the flaw. The Facebook is for 200, 300, the one I'm talking about in the Carlisle. So when people make negative comments at 200, they think it applies to 300. So that's not true. People are making negative comments. By the way, I'm not putting down 200, by the way. I don't think people should be making negative comments. I think it's being a bully. I think you're undermining the board. They made they've made some very nasty comments, and it's uncalled for. And people shouldn't be doing that. If you don't think the board's doing a good job in 200 or 300 or whatever, run for the board. That's what you should do, okay? Instead of putting people down. But I read some negative stuff. 90% of what I read was all related to 200, which again, I'm defending them because people shouldn't be doing that. Because I'm going to finish it by saying about 7, 8 years ago, one of the residents here wanted to have a Winston Tower Facebook, and our attorney said, do not have Facebook. It's people are going to start putting bad things on there. I got communities that it really hurts the resale value, and it's very bad to put negative things on a social media. So some woman started a nice Facebook here. If anybody's looking for a cleaning girl, you want to buy furniture, I'm looking for a babysitter. It was very, very, very nice. And I thought it was a great Facebook. But now, periodically, you get a nasty comment here and there. So I can't stop you from doing it. But this is our property. Before I sign off, I want to say, and I said this at the last Zoom meeting, but I didn't say this on YouTube. I'm in my 14th year on the board. I'm in my 11th year being the president of the board. I thank the residents here. I've run 4 times for the board of directors, and each time I've come in first place, and I'm very proud of that. So the unit owners have always voted me in substantially ahead of everyone else, and I thank you very, very much. I thank my fellow board members for making me president for 11 years now. Thank you for that as well. I'm still motivated. I have 2.5 years left on my term, and I intend to do the best job I can. And I want to mention, too, also history was made because this is the first time that I could ever remember, ever. There's not one unit for sale in Winston Towers 300, not one. There hasn't been nothing for sale here for the past 10 days. That's never happened. Apartments, the prices have gone up substantially since I got on the board. The sales are just flying off the shelf here. So that's a very, very good sign. That means people are coming to Winston Towers. So anyway, I hope anybody here, if I said anything here, once again, I always end up by saying this. If I say anything that's negative or anything that you think I'm out of line with, don't go whispering rumors. Come see me. Make an appointment. I have sometimes 1, 2, 3 appointments a week with certain unit owners here. I'll meet a unit owner anytime they want, anything they want to discuss, all right? We want harmony here. We want people to be united in this building. I don't want anti-dog people. I don't want people. I don't want people putting down things that we're doing here. We do the best we can. I'm a volunteer. The board members I'm with, I just want to mention this, and most of them have been on the board a long time. These are very dedicated people. We have a minimum of 2 meetings a month. I've already attended, probably, I've calculated in all the years, I've been probably 1,000 meetings when you throw in the meetings, the emergency meetings, the meetings with washing machine companies like tomorrow and other meetings we have. we're ready to keep going forward. And I'm sorry, this is, honey, I'm saying this to my wife, I'm sorry I didn't make any jokes today. I'm just trying to do this as quick as I can. Anyway, thank you for your time again. I hope you watch this video. I just want to let me look at my notes before I go, because I know you're probably rolling your eyes at this point. Yeah, I just want to mention also with the P-Tax before I go, because I wrote the note down, I want to say it, that we had a 5 years parts and labor on the P-Tax, okay, almost unheard of. Most deals are 1 year parts and labor, 4 more years labor, parts but no labor. So we try to make the best deals we can. We'll continue making the best deals we can. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you over the summer. Stay well, stay healthy. If you need me, I'm available.